Hello, I'm Raging Amish, and welcome back to another episode of the Amish Warfare. Today we're here to analyze the most polarizing of primary groups, the shotguns. I don't really have an easy way to say it. The shotguns are a crapshoot of inconsistency. Some of these weapons are insanely good, while others leave you feeling dirty and degraded.
I got the poo on me!
Yeah, I used that bit before, but it never gets old. Anyway, I don't know who designed the shotguns. I don't know what the developers were thinking. I do know this, however. Something is wrong with the shotguns on a fundamental level. Walking into Modern Warfare 3, the developers had 4 previous games to look at for guidance. It should have been easy to balance these weapons properly and give each shotgun a role in MW3. Unfortunately, I don't think that happened. What are these roles I speak of, you may ask? Well, I hope this isn't a revelation. The shotguns are designed for close quarter dominance. In theory, these primaries are supposed to be your go-to for maps that feature a lot of tight corners and fast-paced short-range combat. Places like Dome, Mission, and Bootleg come to mind. Here's the problem. The shotguns are wildly inconsistent. Some will dominate, others leave you wondering if you even have a gun in your hands. In truth, characterizing the entire tier is hard, so I like to break the shotguns down into subgroups. Modern Warfare 3 features, in my opinion, 4 different varieties of shotgun, each with varying levels of usefulness. First, we've got the pump action and lever action group. These weapons have a pathetic fire rate, but make up for it with strong shots. This group includes the SPAS-12, the KSG-12, and the Model 1887. We've also got the semi-automatic style, which is limited to just the Striker in Modern Warfare 3. For reference, the M1014 in MW2 or the HS-10 in Black Ops would be other good examples. Semi-automatic shotguns in Call of Duty offer a relatively fast fire rate with high power. The downside to these shotguns tends to be random, but in the case of the Striker, this is the only shotgun to fire 6 pellets per shot. Next, you have the automatic shotguns, which includes the AA-12 and the USAS-12. In a nutshell, these weapons have weak pellets compared to the other shotguns, but they make up for it with a decent fire rate. And of course, I have saved the worst for last. The final shotgun would be the Master Key. For the sake of my sanity, I'm not analyzing this piece of crap. The days of Modern Warfare 2 and insane range for the Master Key are long gone. I thought Black Ops would be the last time we'd see such a bad shotgun, but no! MW3 made it worse. The Master Key is incredibly weak, and frankly, you should fire your assault rifle from the hip before you even think about using this attachment. In general, here's what I can tell you about the shotguns. To start, the loadout is pretty good on paper. You're looking at anything from a 4 to 12 shell capacity with plenty of shots to spare. Don't be alarmed if the capacity seems low. You must remember, any one shell can potentially kill in a single shot because these primaries fire multiple pellets. The damage per shot can be as high as 252 up close and drops to 0 at a distance. Sadly, the range for a shotgun's damage is finite. At a certain point, your pellets will disappear and you will hit nothing. Your damage at range literally drops to 0. This can be mind-bendingly frustrating at times because you'll have an enemy in your sights, but your shotgun will whiff and hit nothing but air. To make matters even more mystifying, the range of the drop to 0 varies highly from weapon to weapon. It can happen anywhere from a range of 11 to 17 meters. Thankfully, the shotguns do get some bonuses to help make up for the lackluster range. As mentioned before, each shotgun could potentially get a one-hit kill. Also, all shotguns move at a rate of 100% by default. Unfortunately, it's not all sunshine and rainbows though. The penetration power is low, and you get no headshot bonus. You heard me right, hitting the body will do the same amount of damage as hitting the head. You can get a headshot with a shotgun, but that just means you happen to hit the enemy in that particular part of the body. Finally, I highly advise picking a decent long-range weapon for your secondary. Something like the Solo MP9 will be a perfect fit. Also, the shotguns are one of the few primary types where I will actually advise messing around with overkill. You can find an alternate primary to use as your secondary for long-range combat. One more thing before I forget. All shotguns share another attribute that is quite frankly annoying. Do you remember the shotguns in Black Ops? Aiming down the sight would reduce your spread of pellets. Well, that doesn't happen in Modern Warfare 3. I strongly advise learning to shoot from the hip, preferably with steady aim.
It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
To make a good class with a shotgun, you need to start by picking the right attachment. To me, the only option that's worth anything is extended mags. You get more ammo and a bigger capacity. The problem is this attachment isn't unlocked until level 26. So, what do? Generally speaking, I use the other attachments strictly to get the challenge done and help unlock extended mags as quickly as possible. As for your perks, I really can't give a blanket rule like with your attachment. Each shotgun needs to be analyzed separately to pick the right perk setup. Still, a few abilities stand out that you should at least consider. First, I highly advise checking out Recon. With proper use of flashbangs, you can optimize the use of your shotgun in close range combat. Sleight of hand is also a decent choice. Some of these primaries have slow reloads by default, making the perk mandatory. It's also hard to pass on Sleight of Hand Pro, which speeds up switching to your secondary. For the red tier, definitely consider Overkill. It's amazingly useful to combine an assault rifle or an LMG with your shotgun. It'll take some getting used to, but you can optimize your playstyle with a mix of two primaries. Of course, however, the granddaddy perk that you need to consider is Steady Aim. With this ability, your pellet spread will be reduced, and you can more effectively kill targets at the limits of your range. It also helps that Steady Aim Pro makes you even faster at readying yourself to fire from the hip. Here's something bizarre though. If you aim down the sight with Steady Aim equipped, you will actually increase your pellet spread. I'm going to repeat that. With Steady Aim equipped, aiming down the sight will increase your pellet spread. Does that make any sense?
This is a prescription for no.
Still, the perks play second chair to the proficiencies. The shotguns are very reliant on two key abilities more than anything else you can pick for your setup. The first is range and the second is damage. The first will make your pellet shoot 25% further, and the latter makes each pellet inflict 40% more damage to the enemy. Sadly, these proficiencies are a pain to unlock. Range is available at level 23 and damage at level 28. That's ridiculous. You truly have to go on an exodus through the desert that takes 40 years just to get to the promised land. And yes, I did just compare the shotguns in Modern Warfare 3 to the liberation of the Jewish people from Egypt. I can't think of a good segue from that, so we're going to the breaking point in this video. Admittedly, the shotguns are a big subject, so I've decided to split this video into two parts. You can see a link to the second half of this video on screen now. This is Raging Amish, and I'll be seeing you soon.